that's kind of like, I like to say it's like planting the seed and you're waiting for it to rain. There's no immediate gratification in this. There's no like, it's very rare. I shouldn't say there's no. It's very rare that you'll run an ad and then someone calls you right away and they're like, we're ready to sell our house with you. That happens rarely. It's more of like, we've seen you at this thing for the past 5 years and we know that this is what you do. Now we're ready to talk with you about it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Behind the Small Business. My name is Kevin Dandino. If you're here for the first time, thank you very much for tuning in. We are always here talking to small businesses and small business owners, getting them to share their story, their experiences, putting a face behind the name of the business. This podcast is brought to you by Centennial State Insurance Agency. You can reach out to us at any time for any kind of auto insurance quote, personal lines quote, small business quote, whatever you want. Reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to see what we can do to help you out. Our number is 303-838-0554. Again, that's Centennial State Insurance Agency. Today, my special guest is Spencer Hamilton, part of the Hamilton Collective. And so, dude, enough of me talking. I want to get to hear about you and know about you. So welcome to the show. How you doing? And introduce yourself to the audience out there.
Well, thanks, Kevin. Thanks for having me. I appreciate being here. And I guess we can start by talking about my favorite topic, which is myself.
I love it.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, I'm Spencer Hamilton. I run a real estate team in the foothills of Colorado. So essentially Golden out to Fairplay, kind of the 285 corridor. I have been in real estate since I got licensed in 2019. And I was a solo agent all the way up until February of this year when I decided start a team, start something new. I'm a glutton for punishment, so I went off to do that. And so I've been running the Hamilton Collective now since February. We are a team of 4. We've got a couple of agents. I've got a full-time lender on the team, a couple transaction coordinators, and a lead setting specialist. So we're kind of a one-stop shop. If you need financing, if you need to buy or sell a house, really anywhere in the foothills, that's where we specialize, but we go everywhere, anywhere in the state, essentially. That's what we do. That's who we are. I'm based, my home is in Morrison, Colorado. I'm probably a 4-minute drive from the front edge of Conifer. So we do a lot of work in kind of the Morrison, Conifer, Evergreen, Bailey corridor.
Okay. Very cool, man. I think that's just fun to hear when you're I'm a glutton for punishment. I want more. I want to do it again. Right. That's awesome. But I one of the first things I want to ask you is, like, what got you into this? Like, what made you want to get into realty and start that journey off for you?
Well, it's a great question. I think my answer is pretty similar to a lot of real estate agents, and it was kind of plan B, or plan C. It wasn't, I went to University of Missouri, I graduated there, kind of without any idea of what I was going to do. Had a couple degrees, didn't know what to do with these degrees. So I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car for several years, got into management there, and then had some other sales jobs after that, some tech sales, found my way into banking where I was president of lending at a bank. And to be honest, I wasn't a good employee. I didn't really go with the come sit at this desk and do this one job, and maybe you move up the ladder, maybe you don't. I was just I had more of an entrepreneurial spirit, I guess you could say, than that. So I was kind of thinking, what am I going to do with that? I have a lot of skills. I'm good with people. How do I turn that into a business, and what kind of business could that be? So my wife actually was the one that told me, you got to go into real estate. This would be it's all people. That's 98% of the job is meet people, get to know them. They'll trust you. You can do business with them. And so, like many other things, Kevin, she was right. I've been married for 11 years, so I know that that's the thing to say.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a good husband. So I got into it, kind of went in, just dove in, and I'm a big community guy, especially where we live. It's very important. You've probably heard this a million times. I mean, small businesses, you don't get anywhere without community focus. And
Yep.
especially Conifer, Morrison, like this area, it's kind of small town living. I mean, we're only 30 to 45 minutes away from Denver, but it's kind of small town stuff. We have local restaurants, and the longer you live up here, you kind of know everybody. And I like that vibe. And so we planted our flag here, and I've gotten involved into many different things. We can talk about that forever.
Yeah.
But that's helped business. It's helped personally, just kind of how I want to live. And so I've enjoyed it, man. Starting the team has been fun. We're helping a lot of people buy and sell up here. Life is great. You should come to the mountains. That's my pitch.
Yeah. I love it, man. I think it's always interesting just to kind of hear like what the drive and the starting point for all small business owners, right? I mean, any small business kind of maybe has different ways about going and starting it based off what type of business it is, whether it's realty or a restaurant or whatever you have, right? But there's always that underlying drive of like what got you into it. And I think for small business owners, that people aspect is always, it seems to be a continuous and it's like a constant thing from person to person to person.
Mhm.
And I think it's just interesting to hear about because again, like where does that community involvement come into play? And I definitely want to talk about that in a little bit as well. But another thing that I wanted to kind of get your take on and just part of your story, right? Like what were some of the difficulties you faced in starting up a realty group? Like, being in a small kind of smaller mountain town or whatnot, how do you get your name out there to kind of branch out? So it's not one of those things like, well, we have to wait for something to be available on the market here in Morrison,
Mm.
and that's it, right? There's like a
Yeah.
lot of marketing, I'm sure, and communication that needs to go out to be able to spread your brand or awareness. So, like, what were the initial steps for you, and maybe some initial hurdles that you had to overcome personally?
Many of them. I think there's a common misperception of this job that it's easy. I think a lot
Mm,
of people who haven't done it were like, "Ah, man, what an easy thing to do. You go to school, you take a test, you're a real estate agent." And now it's like selling sunset, and people just give you $50 million listings, and
oh
life is
yeah.
great, and that's how it is. And it is that could not be further from the truth. There is, I
Hmm.
think I've seen a lot of different stats. I'm not sure which one is correct, but you'll get the point. I think it's 95% of people that get a license fail within the first 5 years. And fail meaning
Yeah.
like they just don't do it anymore. They go on to something else. There's no guaranteed paycheck. There's no insurance. There's no 401k. There's nothing unless you are buying or selling a house. And so a lot of people kind of, it's easy to get, I think anyway, much like any sales jobs, you're going to start working with friends and family first because those people
Sure.
already know you and they trust you and they're willing to help you. But you only have so many friends and you only have so much family, and people don't buy and sell real estate every day. We're not selling things that happens like every single day. So it's a long term marketing strategy. And when I got into it, um, I I knew that community focus was going to be how you're going to get the people that you don't know to know you. And so I made a focus of getting involved in my daughter's daycare and helping
Okay.
them sponsor things, doing Easter egg hunts at the daycare. Did that for, I think, 3 years while she was there. I coached Conifer High School's baseball program. I was there for 2 years as an assistant. COVID happened. And then the 2 years after COVID, I was the head coach for a couple of years. Unfortunately, that's too much time I can't
Yeah.
do it. I wish I could. Um, but just kind of plugging yourself into those types of things, that's kind of like, I like to say it's like planting the seed and you're waiting for it to rain. There's no immediate gratification in this. There's no like, it's very rare. I shouldn't say there's no. It's very rare that you'll run an ad and then someone calls you right away and they're like, "We're ready to sell our house with you." It just that happens rarely. It's more of like,
Mm,
"We've seen you at this thing for the past 5 years and we know
yeah.
that this is what you do. Now we're ready to talk with you about it." So we've done a lot of community focused things. We're very involved up here. And then of course we run our traditional Facebook ads and things like that to get our name out. We have someone calling these leads. Those are much harder to convert than it is of like, I see you at my daughter's soccer game type of things. So it's a mix of all of that, but I think the real thing that I want to get across is you have to treat this as a business, whether you are an individual agent or you're running a team. If you become a real estate agent, or if you are a real estate agent, if you're just sitting there and you're waiting for the phone to ring, you're going to be waiting forever. You have to work on it like this is a business. If you do that, you'll succeed. But I don't think a lot of people have that mentality. And so you just kind of see a lot of the churn and the turnover. And especially when the market goes like all over the place, which it has been. When I got licensed in 2019, right before the 3% interest rate.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like honestly the easiest thing I've ever done. Like, you kind of want people to stop calling you. You're like, oh my goodness, why didn't I do this earlier? This is great. It's cheap to borrow money, so everyone's doing it. And then you have the fluctuations in the market, and that's where if you're not running it like a business, you're behind the 8 ball for the people that are doing that. So kind of a long rambling answer, but that's what we do.
I think there's a lot of good nuggets in there that I think, again, can be very applicable to any small business owner. And when you're approaching it from that mindset, like you said, in regards to, yeah, I'm a realtor, but you have to treat it like a small business. I think a lot of people, especially new business owners, that are just so focused on, I got to learn how to do marketing. I got to learn how to do the social media and create graphics and post consistently, right? Or, I can't afford commercials, so what are other ways I can get my name out there? And they spend so much time and energy on that. And then when they see that, very little actual, calls are coming in or people are coming in, it's very disheartening, right? It's like, what am I doing wrong? And I think what people are overlooking, and one thing that I'm just constantly trying to push on this podcast, the reason we're doing this podcast is you've got to get out there. You've got to get your face out there. You've got to get involved in the community with things like you're talking about. And it's almost like, it reminds me of that picture, that side-by-side picture of 2 miners or 2 diggers digging a deep hole. And on the left side, you see the guy that just, he gives up, he's walking away, but he's inches away from hitting that pay dirt, right? And the other guy he's just like, keep going, keep going, keep going. And eventually when people are like, hey, I've seen you around, I see the type of person you are, the type of dad you are, the type of the way you interact with other people, that's what leads to, this is a guy that I feel comfortable at least approaching, or talking to and seeing what happens. And that's what gets a lot of that organic growth, right? Yeah. The marketing, and it was like, oh yeah, I've seen your name out there or whatnot. And it kind of connects, but getting your name out there, getting your face out there on top of that, and just your personality, showing that you care beyond just making money and making your own business succeed, I think is what really helps get people past that initial hurdle of, the getting the clientele and everything and the customers into their business.
Yeah. Amen. I mean, I think it just fits well with our personality, like, and the type of people that I want to attract on my team and the type of person that I am. I'm a giving type of person. I'm fulfilled when I help you do the thing that you want to do. And oftentimes that costs me time and it costs me money, or I could be doing something else to further my paycheck, but that doesn't fill the gaps in the heart. It's more of like, if I can help you and your small business do something, if I can help you market it, or if I can talk to you and just generally help. Life is hard, man. Life is hard. Running a small business is hard. You need help from people. And if you're the helper, A, I think that's what makes the world go round. And B, it comes back to you. I think karma is a thing. I don't ever do that thinking that like, oh, I'm going to get all the business. I'm doing it because I want your business. it just kind of organically happens that way. And so I feel like the more you live your life in kind of a servant mentality, the just the happier you are, the better you are. Business will be better, your family will be better, your relationships are better. You'll be a happy person. And so like that's kind of my mantra in life and in
Yeah.
business is let's help each other out. I think there's a song like that. I from the
It sounds
Beatles or something
familiar.
like that. I don't know. But that's
Exactly.
how I roll, man. That's how we do things on our team.
No, that's great. And I'll just say, every successful small business owner that I've talked to here on this podcast, the one thing they have in common is that mentality of finding ways to help out other people, not because they expect something in return, but that is just part of their business rhythm. That's part of their business mentality. And those are the ones that, again, the community just opens up to them, right? And their name is able to, the word of mouth is such a huge piece of marketing that you can't really create on your own. You can't use AI to generate word of mouth, or references or anything like that. It's you putting yourself out there. And so for anybody who's like thinking about starting a small business or just starting one out, it's important to get your head away, your face away from the computer, walk outside, find something in your community to help volunteer for or donate to, kind of support that way, get your name on it or whatnot. But generally it's like, I want to help, because you're that kind of, you're not like an elected leader in the community, but you're in a position to be a leader in the community. And just time and time again, that is a consistent theme from successful business owner to the next successful business owner. And you've got to find a way to do it. So these are great ideas. And so the perfect lead in, like, you kind of talked about some of the other little things you did, but I say little, like coaching a high school baseball team is little, right? But, walk me through, like, what are some of the other things that you've done, or you're still doing, maybe some upcoming events, things that you're continuing to support?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's actually some exciting things coming up.
Cool.
We talked a little bit before the recording. I've got a daughter now at West Jeff Elementary School. She started this week, which is heartbreaking and exciting all at the same time. But I'll be getting involved in there, PTA or whatever kind of organizations they have that they need help with. Jefferson County School District, like many school districts, are always facing budget crises. I mean, that's everywhere, probably across the nation, is budget things. And so I would like to be able to be in whatever small position I can be in, just to help the teachers and the school, and but
Mm.
by doing that, help my own daughter. But
Sure, of
maybe
course.
we help get them a program that they need, or a budget's been cut, or just help get the word out on things like that. So getting involved with that, probably starting next month. Another exciting thing is Conifer Radio, which is an internet streaming, like an internet based local radio. And their
Okay.
goal is to be the voice of the community. They do a great job of doing that, and they're taking Conifer Radio to kind of a next level. They're transitioning this into being a nonprofit organization, and essentially over time turning the reins over from an owner of this radio station to having the community own it. It's a
Hmm.
it's a very unique business model that a lot of people have called in trying to emulate. And so kind of in discussions on being the board of trustees for Conifer Radio and help spread their word about the community of Conifer, and what we have to offer, and why it's great to live here, and all those kind of things. A lot of that, all of that has nothing to do with real estate. That's just community focused, driven
Right.
by the community activities, right? Um, and then maybe you get business from it, maybe not, but it helps people that need the help. And so those are some things we'll be doing coming up. We're always open to things. If you're listening to this podcast and you have something, we'll get involved. Like that's a thing
Right.
we like. And I'm not here to fake it. We don't fake generosity over here.
Of course.
We get involved and we stay involved. Which again, I think is another thing a lot of people do, is they want to get involved and then they leave 6 months into it. And that's
Right.
kind of the churning of that is not a long-term deal. So we like to get involved. We like
Mhm.
to be sticky with it. And but yeah, those are some things that's coming up with our team.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say it now for you looking to be on the board of directors there and just to Conifer Radio in general. Love to have some of you or one of you on to talk about specifically that,
Yeah.
because that is a fascinating idea, especially turning it to a nonprofit thing. We've had a couple nonprofits on here before, and that's just another fantastic idea. So, Conifer Radio, you're on notice. I want you on the podcast. Awesome, man. That's fantastic. One thing I kind of wanted to talk to you about next, it's small business owners, really only deal with insurance when they need to renew their policy or something changes or whatnot. But you, as a realtor, you're dealing with insurance on every single sale in and out, right? So, what kind of advice would you give like to other realtors who are maybe looking to build rapport with an insurance agent or kind of build out their network, or just like what's your approach to that mentality and then making sure that your clients are getting set up with good coverage as well, and not just getting a fly by night, fly by wire, whatever kind of, okay, you check the box, you have insurance kind of a deal.
Yeah, that's a great question. There's this is the hot button issue right now.
Yeah.
Homeowners insurance, especially where we are, because the foothills area is now a high wildfire risk area, and a lot of insurance companies don't want to touch it.
Hmm.
That's not to scare anybody. That's just the truth. And
Right.
having someone that lives up here and does work, this is another reason why it's important to choose someone who knows this. But um, for instance, right now there's only one insurance company writing policies in my neighborhood and kind of the surrounding area, and it's Burns and Wilcox. And
Hmm.
like, who are they? Right?
Right.
None of the major carriers are going to write up here right now. And what you'll find is, like, for example, we have State Farm. We've had State Farm for a while. That price goes up and up. The more fires that happen in the state, the more they have to insurance is not a nonprofit. So
Exactly.
the more they're paying out, they're going to recoup that in
Hmm.
high risk areas from other people. Um, Insurance companies, especially in the foothills, want to take that risk until they hit a certain cap. Let's say 2% of the market share. We want 2%. And once they hit that cap, they're not writing any more policies. And then the next insurance company comes in and says, we'll take the risk and we'll take 2%. And if they own any more than that, then they start dropping people and you have to find other insurance. And so relationship to your question, the relationship with insurance is vital where we do business at. Um, I have several relationships with several insurance companies. My best one right now is with brokers because they have to shop it around and
Hmm.
see who's going to write at this certain time. Um, the rates really aren't. They actually have gotten better, to be
They
honest,
have
up here.
recently. Yep.
And I think there's some new programs out where you can kind of challenge if there's an increase in your homeowners, you can challenge it. I don't know if that's like a federal thing or if that's just a company specific thing. They have a new, you probably know more about this than I do, but I think it's called the Fair Insurance Act or something, like the state
Hmm.
funded insurance. So they've recognized that it's an issue in my neck of the woods. When we're dealing with clients, if you're a buyer and you want to buy a house up here, we're not writing an offer until we get insurance coverage. Like, I'm not even, we're going to call the companies, we're going to get the quote, we're going to make sure that it's in the budget and that you're comfortable with this, and then we will write the offer to buy the house. Same thing when we're selling a house. If we get an offer in, I say, have you called insurance yet? Do you know what it means, what it costs? Do you know
Good.
what you're getting into? Again, it's not to
Hmm.
scare people, but it just is what it is. And so
Right.
we're proactive with that. I'm talking a lot about it because I deal with it so much right
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
It used to be like in the foothills when I first started, it used to be like, how do you get internet? Or,
Yeah.
who's your cell phone provider? And it's like,
Right.
well, but now it's like, who's the insurance company? And
Yeah,
what does that look like for me? And so, yeah, that's an important relationship for us. Down in Denver, in Westminster, in Broomfield, and wherever, easy. That's
sure.
easy. That's You call whoever you want. Typically, maybe it's whatever insurance company insures the house right now. You call them and say,
Mhm.
same house, new owner, and they go, cool, and that's it. So there are some differences up here, some nuances that are super fun to deal
Right. So fun is a word.
with. Yeah,
We'll
it's
use
a
it.
word.
But I think the point, for anybody looking for a home or, again, and part of the reason I asked that, not just to talk insurance, because it's sponsored by Centennial State Insurance Agency, right? But, you know, I think a lot of people maybe don't think about that initially, right? They find the home, they're like, I really want this home. And then they're like, oh crap. Yeah, but you want your insurance agent, or you want to be able to trust that your insurance agent kind of at least knows the basics and has some connections and is going to point you in the right direction, right? And so it's an important question to ask when you're looking for an agent or a realty group or anything like that of like, what is your understanding of this? And if you don't get a good warm fuzzy that they know what they're talking about, maybe you want to go find someone else just in case, right? But
Mhm.
kind of what you're explaining, what you're talking about, like, this is a group that definitely understands what's going on and is able to kind of support that along the way. So awesome stuff to hear, man. One of the last things I wanted to ask you is just, again, we've talked about some of the hurdles you had to overcome, some of the tough things like with insurance and whatnot, but what are some of the you talked about the people side of the business, right? But what are the joys you get from being a realtor and being your own, being a small business owner, and what gets you just going during the day and what makes you happy when you're doing this?
Well, many more than the downsides.
Good.
There's a lot more joy. I didn't realize how much I would really like, especially in our market, uh, having people move here from, let's say, Denver or a suburb of Denver or really any other city across the nation, honestly. And they move here because they move for a lifestyle change. And
Sure.
the foothills, it's not like Breckenridge or like the 14ers, but it's mountain lifestyle. We have acreage, and you're going to see a bear. You're going to see deer in your yard. You're going to have to snow blow a lot more, plow, or like it's just a different way of living, and a lot of people want it. And so it's really cool when to get somebody to move up here and then educate them about what that means. I've lived up here with my wife now for probably a little over 10 years. And so we know what it's like to live up here. And it's
Mm.
really, really cool. What we see a lot when we have buyers that come up here and buy a house, they will call us in 3 months, 6 months, and they sound different. Like their voice is different. Like they're
Hmm.
smiling and happy,
Okay.
and it's like a weight off the shoulder. You don't have to be on I-25 anymore.
Mhm.
We're not sitting in traffic. There's
Yep.
the rise of work from home has boomed our area. That's a lot of people's concern is like, well, we have to drive you don't anymore. You
Not
get
now.
to
Yeah.
get your space and to own it and live like a true Colorado lifestyle. I think, in my opinion, I lived in Denver for several years when I first moved here. That could be a city. There's nothing against Denver. Like, I'm not. This isn't like
No.
a
No. Of
bad
course not.
thing.
Right.
But for me, like that could be a city anywhere. That's a
Yeah.
city. It's a what used to feel like a small city now kind of to me feels
Mm.
like a bigger city,
Yeah.
and that could be in any other state. If you live in Colorado, you should live in Colorado, like
Yeah.
where you have the mountains and you're not mowing your yard, but you're chainsawing your trees. And, it's not for everybody.
Sure.
But the biggest joy is the people that do it and they go, man, this is how we want to live. Like this is a
Mm.
life worth living for us. And to be able to educate them on how to do that and then help them buy the house or whatever, like that's the best part of what we do.
I love it, man. Great stuff. And it's always just good to hear the success stories and the joy that you get from it. Because again, I think small business owners get bogged down sometimes, right? There's just so many facets to being a small business owner that it's important to, again, just take a breath and think about, like, why am I doing this? What makes me happy about it? And if you're like, man, I've been really stressed lately, find something, right? Like, break the cycle and go find something that, okay, man, that today was a good day, whatever it is. So great stuff to hear. As we close this out, man, I definitely want to give you an opportunity here to, again, let everybody know who you are, how they can find you, what you offer, and give you a little bit of free publicity there at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm Spencer Hamilton. I own the Hamilton Collective real estate team, primarily foothills based. If you are looking basically to buy or sell anywhere from Golden to Fairplay on up 285 parts of I-70, we're the team for you. We're very community focused. We're friendly. We're knowledgeable. We take great pride in doing things the right way and helping you do what you need to accomplish in the real estate space. We keep up to date with the market. We will tell you if it's a good idea. We will tell you if it's a bad idea. We're not here to lie. We're not here to say, yes, everything's great, you should do this right now. Sometimes it's not the best idea. And you'll get that honesty from our group. You can find me. I think my phone number is scrolling here at the bottom.
Sure is.
Call me. I'm old. I'm getting older. So like, just give me a call or shoot me a text message at this number down here. You can find me all over social media. And then our website is thehamiltoncollectiveco.com.
I love it. Dude, Spencer, thank you very much for taking your time out of your day to talk with me and share your story, share the story of the Hamilton Collective, and definitely best of luck for you going forward. And I'll maybe have you on again down the line and just kind of hear about any changes or updates or any other awesome things you got going on. But definitely appreciate everything you do for your community. And it's definitely, I think, an inspiration to other small business owners out there. So awesome stuff. And thank you, man.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate your time, man. Have a great day.
Of course. You too. Hey guys, again, thank you for tuning into another edition of the Behind the Small Business podcast. If you are a small business owner yourself, this is an open invitation to come on here, share your story, just like Spencer just did, get some free publicity. This is a no strings attached offer. Spencer can attest to this. I didn't hound him for, you have to go with us for insurance or anything like this. This is just an opportunity for, our way of giving back to the community as well, and helping you all find another way to succeed and another avenue for marketing and everything. So send us a message, send us an email, reach out to us on any of the social medias and just say, hey, I want to be on the podcast, and we will get you set up and scheduled for an episode recording. But love to have you all. Again, this is brought to you by Centennial State Insurance Agency. Reach out to us for any of your insurance questions or inquiries. Can't talk today. 383-830-5554. We are here to help you. But with that being said, we will see you next time on another episode of Behind the Small Business. Take care, everyone.